how can I attract my avoidant ex back? This is what we're going to cover today in this video. I'm going to explain you very practical tips, actually 5 tips if you want to get your ex back who has an avoidant attachment style.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
Before I start, very quickly, just to remind you that I put together a quiz for you to know if you have any chance to get back with your ex. The link is in the description of the video. It takes 2 minutes and it will basically tell you whether you have any chance or not to get back with your ex. Another way for you to get some help and knowledge and resources is to give me a call. You can book those discovery calls. I have about 10 per week, so they get booked up pretty quickly. Have a look in the description, or you can WhatsApp me. It's one way for me to help more people. Feel free to WhatsApp me and I'll get back in touch and I'll help you in your situation. And there's another way for you to get some help is to join our WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups. They'll be live shortly after I post this video, so don't hesitate to apply to join. Again, this is totally free. Another thing I can ask you, if you like the content, don't hesitate to like the video. It does help me a lot and I need that to also see the topics that you like to see in this channel. And also, if you're the first time you're watching the video, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the content. If you've been watching my videos for quite a while, you can also subscribe so you're notified anytime I post a video. And if you have any questions or anything about this specific video, don't hesitate to comment. Okay, let's get started. Sip of water. Attachment style theory. We have 4 basic attachment style theory. I would only cover 3 because the 4th one is only covered by 5% of people. But the way it works is we have the model of self, i.e. we have really a bit of confidence, or we need approval from other, or we don't need approval from other. So if we have a high, if you're really negative towards this, maybe you're anxious, you need a lot of validation, you're interested in people's response. When you do something, you do it because you want people to react, you want to please people, these kind of things. Then the other one is the model of others. How are you towards others? If you have a negative model of others, is because you don't necessarily rely on people. You actually not reject, but you keep people at an arm's length. You are struggling to build close relationship. The other one, and where everyone should try to be, is the secure. This basically you are comfortable expressing your needs, you're comfortable with distance, you can, you're secure enough to trust your partner. You're also secure enough to tell them when you're upset or to express your needs and emotion. So you're interested in responding to others, basically. The fearful is you're both anxious and avoidant. It's really difficult. Maybe your ex was socially avoidant and unstably mixed. Honestly, it's not that we should never date someone like this, but it's really difficult because you need to go through, for sure, through therapy to really address this type of psychological problem, from this type of attachment, because it's hard to build a relationship with someone. Not that they don't have friends, but it's hard to have, a primary relationship with someone. The trait of an avoidant, they struggle with intimacy. That's really the core thing of avoidant people, is that they have this deep fear of intimacy. So they can have friends, obviously, but they struggle to build deep connection. They sometimes will be struggling to say, I love you, and they keep secrets. So they don't necessarily cheat on you or have a double life, but they really keep things secret because they don't necessarily want to explain or to argue or to confront you. The problem is that their vision of relationship might be very different than yours. And it is why you have to watch this video till the end, because understanding what I'm going to explain you can help you get them back. And here are the 5 tips to get him or her back. The first tip is that they need space and time. It's really important in the relationship, and even more important in relationship recovery is really how you can respect their needs. The need of an avoidant is to have some space, some freedom. So when they broke up with you, or if you broke up with them, don't pressure them. They may take longer to regret the breakup, and so you have to acknowledge and you have to understand that they need a bit more time sometimes than other people. The problem is that it would make you more anxious, but trust me, this is the best way to get back with an avoidant partner. The other option is to be anxious, and is to be clingy, and is to spam them and harass them at some point, and this will create even more anxiety, or this will sort of fuel their attachment style, and it will basically prevent you from getting back with them. Tip number 2 is to limit the number and the length of interaction. If you're in touch with them, keep it short, keep it shallow. I'm not saying that's how you should build a relationship. I'm just saying at this stage, if you want to recover that relationship, you need to start really, really superficial, right? It's okay to initiate, but be mindful that you're not trespassing, okay? Kind of the police line do not cross. When you see that you're over, trespassing, you just pause and you wait. Of course, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very challenging because you want that connection. Maybe you're an anxious attachment style and you are craving for that closeness, but that's not what they're after. What they're after is space. What they're after is freedom. So be really mindful about that. And in your interaction, if you see that most of the messages are coming from you and they only send 1 or 2 messages or okay, thank you, bye, and you're sending like this kind of paragraph, you're doing something wrong. The tip number 3 is that at some point they will miss you. And this is when you can raise a little bit the intensity of your interaction. But you do it only when they feel they are free. The relationship they felt imprisoned, after the relationship, after the breakup, they feel release. So let them time to enjoy that phase, to enjoy that freedom. And when they've enjoyed this freedom, this is when they'll start regretting the relationship. Okay, and this is when you can start talking about a little bit more deeper stuff. Tip 4, don't be scared by rebounds. If they get close to people, they will have a tendency to detach at some point, right? That's their nature. Now, a very important disclaimer, and actually that is also relevant for tip number 3. This is true only if they felt your relationship was different. If they are avoidant, you were together for 6 months, they only had 6 months relationship, it's going to be hard for you to get them back. Because what's going to happen is going to have the next relationship. Unless they feel that what you guys had was different, i.e. they are willing to make the effort to be more secure. They're willing to make the effort to create deeper connection with you. You take the quiz if you don't want to waste your time. I did it to help you out. It takes 2 minutes and at least you're not fighting the wrong battle. So if you have a score of 20, what will happen is that breakup will create a wake-up call. They reflect the purpose of life or their life goals, and they'll think like, okay, I'm 30, I've dated only a few people, it only didn't last long, but with my ex it was like 2 years, I was really in love. I thought I was ready to have a family. I know we sort of was holding on to things, and I know she wanted or he wanted to move in together. And now I'm seeing a therapist, and I know that it's really my insecurity, and I'm struggling. So all this kind of thought process, is because they felt you and him or her was different, was strong, and would force him or push them to reconnect. So what do they want in life? That's a really question. Maybe you can assess this question yourself. The only thing you need to understand is whether they are ready to invest and grow. You're doing that work right now, watching videos about relationship, trying to understand the root cause of the breakup, trying to understand how you can get them back. Okay? The problem with avoidant people is that they need to do a bit of effort. They need to also be self-critical about their behavior and understand their psychology and why it's so hard for them to commit, why it's so hard for them to be close to someone, why it's so hard to build deep connection with the person who should be the most important person in their life. If it's a wake-up call, and it's usually if you guys had a big, a high score on the test, this creates a wake-up call. And trust me, I've helped a lot of couples where there are a lot of people where their ex were avoidant, and it doesn't mean that they didn't love them. And I have a lot of clients actually who are avoidant, and they want to get their ex back because they feel like, fuck, that's not what I want. I want to have a family, kids. I want to be with someone because we all need people, Avoidant attachment style is really counter natural in a way because we need people. So avoidant people, like myself a little bit, we are taught, but it's actually not really how we are hardwired. We need connection. We need to have a secured bond, a primary attachment person, figure. Mother, parents, or wife, husband. Tip number 5. The 4 was long. Tip number 5, when you should reach out. Let's get very practical. When you see they're more active on social media, we discussed that at some point they have this phase of release and they'll be like, okay, when they release, they really want to be on their own, reflect, enjoy their time. Actually, I'm finally free. I'm finally on my own. Type of risky business type of thing. They're dancing in their living room in their underwear.
Just take those old records on.
And so they start to meet people. Their natural tendency is to self-soothe, as we discussed. So they will socialize after they feel better. The problem with avoidance is that you have to be patient, and it may take some time. So the problem is you might be thinking, okay, but how long? Maybe you're in the middle of the no contact, maybe you are at the end of the contact. How can you know? It's hard for me to, and I've tried to look at ways to find rules and number of days. And honestly, with avoidant people, it's really dependent on the context and on the relationship and on the different signs during the breakup and potentially during that phase of the contact. Maybe you're in touch. So if you're not sure, don't hesitate to give me a call or comment on the video, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Bye-bye.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.